Okay, cool. All right, well, I want to thank you all for being here this morning, and I want to thank Beyond Dance for graciously giving us one of their studios so we can bring to you this special event, because we're here to talk about a new fantasy show, an unreality show, to premiere next month on the Oxygen cable network. It's called Brooklyn 11223. They call it a docudrama about Bay Ridge, specifically about Bay Ridge women. And we're here today to call them on it. You know, we've seen the videos, my staff and I have seen the video trailer preview on this, and we're calling them on this show because it's crass, it's crude, it's cartoonish, and about Bay Ridge and its women. They couldn't be more hopelessly wrong about Bay Ridge women in this show. And I believe we have that promo video for those who haven't seen it, just to show you a little bit of what they're going to try and produce here at the end of next month on the Oxygen Network. And if you could see that screen, we'll play that. It's only a minute or two long, that video. And you'll get a sense of what they're going to play. You'll notice that they actually start off in Coney Island.
We have our own show going on here.
All right. Let me, sorry we couldn't get that whole video there. To start off with, the producers don't even get the zip code right. You know, 11223 is not Bay Ridge, and we all know that, right? So that's the first clue that the portrayal is way off base and it's not accurate. As we might say in Brooklyn, it has no credit, right? And that's really the problem here. It shows women who act and speak as if we're still in the era of Saturday Night Fever. You know, listen to what some of the news articles report about the show. In yesterday's New York Post, Andrea Pizer, in her column, said, "It's a reality show set to stink up our shores next month on the Oxygen Network, with its caricatures of slutty Guidos totally lacking in manners and sexual restraint, who bear the absence of a vocabulary beyond forget about it. The show cements the basis bigotry." Then in some of the a headline from a news blog post says, "Brooklyn 11223 gives Bay Ridge chance to be as trashy as Jersey Shore." It goes on and on with the reviews. So we're in doing what they're doing. The producers of Brooklyn 11223 degrade all women, and certainly degrade and denigrate the women who proudly call themselves Brooklynites and Bay Ridgeites. And so we're here today to present to the media, to the producers of this trashy show, and to the TV viewing public, the real women of Bay Ridge. Many of those women are standing behind me right now today. You won't hear from this group, you won't hear them spewing stereotypes or coming up and saying things to me like, "Yo, hey, Vinny," right? No, these women behind me and those you'll find throughout Bay Ridge are strong, skilled, smart, professional, compassionate, generous, courteous, engaged in our community, leaders in business, education, and builders of family life. This is how I describe the women of Bay Ridge. Those behind me, and they represent the vast majority of women throughout our community. And this is the profile we present to the world today. They're here to be seen and heard, and you want to be heard too. see them as the reality in Bay Ridge. They want to send this TV show to where it belongs, to Fantasyland TV. So ladies and gentlemen, now let me proudly present to you the real women of Brooklyn, 11209. And, you know, we are so fortunate among all the leaders in our community to have leaders in government that are women. And one of the leading women in our community and in this state, we're proud to have her as one of our own, and that's our local state senator, Senator Diane Savino. So I'm going to ask her to say a few words now on this occasion. So Senator Savino, it's all yours.
Councilman Vincenzo Gentile. And I want to thank everyone that's here today. This array of women behind me is amazing. You know, I'm so proud to be standing here speaking about an issue that I have been talking about for the past 2 years, and that is the continued degradation of young women on television for sport. You know, the idea of young women degrading themselves on TV is not new. Jerry Springer developed this model 20 years ago. It's the same show every day. Two women fight over some stupid man not worth fighting over, and everybody tunes in every day. Well, they've taken it to a whole new level. Starting a few years ago with the buffoonery of the Jersey Shore, moving forward to what, in my opinion, I told the reporter earlier, I can't figure the word that is bad enough to describe the mob wives. Not in Italian or in English, I can't figure it out. But now we have another show, Brooklyn 11223. Continuing a trend of not just young women degrading themselves for fame and fortune, fighting over men not worth fighting over, but continuing a trend of portraying Italian-American women in the worst possible light. We in the Italian-American community are outraged by it, and rightfully so. And to those who say, what's the big deal, it's just a television show. Well, you know what? If you're tuning in Nebraska somewhere, maybe, you probably don't have a lot of Italian-American neighbors. So your only idea of what Italian-Americans are is what you see on the Oxygen Network, on MTV, or what is it, where is Mob Wives? Wherever it is.
Bravo.
So not only do you think that's what Italian-Americans are like, that's what Italian-American women are like, you think that's what Staten Island and Bay Ridge are like. Well, we know different. We know better. And it's time for all of us to stand up and say, it's enough. Young women should not be encouraged to degrade themselves for money. We need to put a stop to it, and we need to do it right here in Bay Ridge. And how can we do that? Not by just holding this press conference and saying people should watch it. We need to talk to the people in Bay Ridge who run our restaurants and our nightclubs. And we need to send a very specific message to them. If you allow this show to come in and to film in your place of business, so that somewhere in Nebraska someone is watching a show and this is what they think of Bay Ridge and this is what they think of Italian-American women, we're not going to frequent your restaurants anymore. We're not going to frequent your clubs. We're not going to reward you for bad behavior. So we need to stop right here and right now. This show does not portray the young women behind it. This show does not portray Brooklyn. This show does not portray Italian-American women. And we need to send a very clear message. We ain't messing around this time. This ain't the Jersey Shore. This is Brooklyn, and we fight back. Thank you.
That's why we love our Senator, Diane Savino. Thank you, Diane. And on behalf of all the women here today, I'm going to ask 3 of them to come forward and say a few words. And so I want to ask now Jennifer Abad, who is the owner right here of the Beyond Dance Studio. It's a beautiful 4,000-foot square facility, square foot facility, and it's a dance facility right here in the heart of Bay Ridge. So Jennifer will be coming up. Bina Valenzano, I'm sorry. Bina Valenzano is the co-owner of the Bookmark Shop on 3rd Avenue in Bay Ridge. She's also the marketing director for the Merchants of 3rd Avenue, and Karen Tadros, who's the producer for the Jeff Salmonat Theater and the Ridge Corral, and she's the head of the Bay Ridge Community Council Committee for the Arts and Culture. So let's welcome Jennifer, Dina, and Karen.
My name is Jennifer Abad.
Can you spell your name, please?
It's Jennifer, Jennifer, Abad, A-B-A-D. And I'm the owner of Beyond Dance, dance training facility in Bay Ridge, and I'm proud to be a part of this. This is something I feel very strongly about. This is the place that I call home. I have, if you don't mind me bringing her up, one of my students here. Her name is Isabella. These are the kids that we have here, just an example. We have all ages, and this is not what they aspire to be, nor this is not what I want them to look at and think that this is okay, this is acceptable. I was trained, I went to school, as much as I had a good time and went out with friends. That's not what it's about. We have people coming from all over to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, Staten Island, different areas, and this is not what we want them to think of us. And I just wanted you guys to know that this is how we feel, and I'm sure all the women behind us feel the same way. This is a wonderful place, and there's arts, education, boutiques, eateries, and aside from bars and restaurants, it's just a wonderful place to be and raise your children.
What are your thoughts about the show? How do you feel about it?
It's degrading. It's completely degrading. And it's funny, I said this to someone earlier, that I'm dating myself by saying this, but we grew up on actual shows where we saw actors. Now it's all about reality shows. And that's not what these kids, if they want to be actresses, this is what they're going to look at, this is what they're going to see. That's not what it is. So I can only hope that this doesn't actually transpire and something comes of this where these kids can actually say, okay, we did something about this, and we can aspire to be professionals in the real world and be respected.
Nina?
Hi everyone, thank you so much for asking me to speak today. My name is Vina D'Alanzano. I am co-owner of the Bookmark Shop, as well as marketing director for the 3rd Avenue Merchants Association.
Can you spell your name?
B-I-N-A, last name D'Alanzano, V-A-L-E-N-Z-A-N-O. And I work hard every single day to show my niece what it means to be a responsible adult, what it means to grow up making the right choices about yourself, your friends, the boys that you would allow into your life, and how important school is, and also going forward. One of the things that hasn't really been touched upon is that the zip code is incorrect. Now, I have nothing against Gravesend, but if they wanted to create a show with residents of Gravesend, they should have kept it in Gravesend. Maybe it's just showing an aspect of what they're lacking that Bay Ridge has here. Yes, we have wonderful restaurants. Yes, we have wonderful bars. That's the only aspect that they're going to be showing on this show. We have wonderful community groups, local theater groups, dance groups, art galleries, bookstores. And the reason why they're not going to show that wonderful aspect of Bay Ridge is because that's not what sells on TV. If they gave an accurate portrayal of what Bay Ridge is all about, the season would probably only go for one season. Because if there is no drama, there is no show. And that's what they're creating here. We're working hard as a Bay Ridge community to put together a wonderful event this summer called the Summer Strolls. And that is 4 evenings during the summer where we are showcasing all of the wonderful aspects of Bay Ridge, including our cultural. If you're interested in knowing what Bay Ridge is all about, then that is when you should come and check us out, because that's the accurate portrayal of who we are and what we do here. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Karen Tadros, T-A-D-R-O-S-S as in Sam. and I am a producer for the Jeff Samahat Theater Productions Ridge Corral. We are one of the oldest theater performance companies in Brooklyn, being established by Mr. Jeff Samahat back in 1968. I'm here to pretty much represent not only the arts groups here in Bay Ridge who look upon this show as nothing artistic at all, but to speak to women in general. The women of Brooklyn for many, many years, ages, have tried to overcome stereotypes of all kinds. I travel an awful lot, and when I meet people on my travels and they ask me where I'm from, and I say Brooklyn, immediately I get a response that sometimes is not in the most positive way that I would like it to be received. And this show, you know, really takes us 2 steps back. Women in Bay Ridge, women in Brooklyn are accomplished. We're creative, we're smart. We have so much more to offer. And I would ask that the young women who are part of this show to look 10 years down the line. To look at whether 10 years from now they're going to sit their children down on a couch, pop in a DVD of this show and say, look what Mom did 10 years ago, that I'm so proud of it. I can guarantee you they will not. Their children, they will want to shelter their children from this type of quote-unquote entertainment. And I think as mothers, as women, and I'll see a lot of fathers here in the room as well, I think that you are going to want to protect your children from this as well. These producers of this show look for women to humiliate themselves, whether it's self-humiliation or humiliation that is created through the editing process. And they look for that money shot. And money shot sells. So I would ask the producers to be a little bit more responsible, to take these young women to some of the creative and cultural events that happen here in our community. We have the Bay Ridge Festival of the Arts coming up in April. Our production company, Jeff Samahat Theater Production Company, Narrows Community Theater, who's standing behind me, Brooklyn One Community Theater. These are all community organizations that put out real art. And I invite these producers to bring these women to one of our productions so that they can see what real talent and hard work can accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, this type of show not only is bad for Bay Ridge, but it's bad for all of Brooklyn. And it really puts Brooklyn, the whole borough, in a bad light. So the borough president certainly has opinions about this. So to represent our borough president on this occasion is his chief policy advisor, Carlo Shizura.
Thank you. You know what amazes me is the hypocrisy of this network. This is a network that brands itself as looking out for the interest of women, and yet they do something that completely disparages women, particularly Italian-American women. And look, it's been done for Russian-Americans, as Alex said, it's been done against Arab-Americans. It continues to be done. The only word I could call that is hypocrisy. If you claim to be a women's network, talk about women's issues, or talk about the right women's issues, not these embarrassing, disgusting stereotypes. So I am not a pitch man for TV shows, but I'm going to pitch 3 shows to the Oxygen Network. If anyone here knows executives, you can take it and run with it. First show, Brooklyn 11209. It tells the story of women in Bay Ridge that are struggling to raise their families, educate their children, and run a small business. So, show number 1. Show number 2, Brooklyn 11228. Tells the story of women in Dyker Heights who are struggling to raise a family, running a small business, and educating their kids. And the last one, my home zip code, Brooklyn 11204. I don't need to repeat the 3 things that show us. But you get the point. You want to show a show about Brooklyn, you want to tell the story of Brooklyn. There are a lot of great things to tell about Brooklyn. I think what Diane said about keeping up the fight is very important. If a show is filming in one of the restaurants, stop going there, period. If a show is coming out here and they're wrecking streets or taking up parking spots, call the police. Don't be shy. These women are certainly not shy. And keep up the pressure, because you know what? Eventually, one of the shows that I talked about will be written, and it's going to be our job to make sure that it's written, filmed, and tells the story about women in Brooklyn. Vinny, thank you for putting this together.